In this video, we will cover the Noahide Prohibition of Murder. We will see where it is derived and all the basics to which it extends. So let's get into it. The prohibition against murder seems like the most obvious out of all the Noahide prohibitions. Indeed, we implicitly understand that each individual is important, valuable, and each individual deserves freedoms. Thus, when somebody murders, one removes the most essential freedom from that individual: life. Like I've stated before, Genesis 2 verse 16 serves as a memory aid for the Noahide commandments. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying. Here, man, Adam in Hebrew, helps us to remember Genesis 9 verse 6. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man his blood shall be shed. And this verse uses Adam. Now it's interesting that in all of the laws given to Adam and Noah, the prohibition of murder in Genesis 9 verses 5 and 6 contain the most Hebrew words. In those verses, God commands Noah, "But your blood of your souls I will demand. Of every beast I will demand it. But of man for his brother I will demand the soul of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man." Now before we dissect this verse, it's important to note that the Hebrew word for man in this verse is Adam. And Adam means both male and female. We know this from Genesis 1 verse 27. And God created Adam, male and female he created them. Yes, indeed, the first human was both male and female. So when Adam in this verse is used, it applies to both men and women. So let's briefly dissect this verse. The sages explain that your blood of your souls I will demand refers to one who commits suicide. It could also be read, and surely from your souls, from yourselves, I will demand your blood, which means I will hold you liable for taking your own life. In the verse, of every beast I will demand it, refers to one who places another person in front of an injurious animal so that the animal will kill the person. Of man for his brother I will demand the soul of man refers to one who sends another to kill. Now for these 3 points, it says I will demand, I meaning God. So these are all liable to punishment by God only, not by man. Then we go to the next 3. Whoever sheds the blood of man refers to one who kills actively and deliberately. Now this next point is very interesting. That verse could also read, whoever sheds the blood of man within man. So this verse says, whoever sheds the blood of man, by man his blood shall be shed. But this verse can also be read in Hebrew, whoever sheds the blood of man within man his blood shall be shed. The preposition before man can mean either by or within. So we get 2 meanings here. The first is whoever sheds the blood of man, which we just went over. The second means whoever sheds the blood of man within man. So this refers to killing a fetus. So man within man can only refer to a fetus, a person within a person. Remember that biblical Hebrew doesn't have any commas. So yes, this verse deliberately reads both ways, and thus we should heed both points. Now the last point is, his blood shall be shed. This part refers to the judgment of capital punishment given by a court of law. Now the reasoning behind the prohibition of murder is clear and simple. God desires the world to be inhabited and settled, not destroyed and desolate. Also, no person should presume the right of mastery over others to the extent of murder and injury. Remember that God is continually willing everything in existence. If God wanted somebody dead, he would cause the person to die. Therefore, the authority of human life is in God's hands alone, unless he calls for our intervention, which can only be found in the Torah, the highest degree of divine revelation. Now another verse that applies is Genesis 4 verse 10. This is perhaps my favorite demonstration of the importance of reading the Bible in the original Hebrew. So the oldest sons of Adam and Eve were Cain and Abel. Cain murders Abel, In Genesis 4 verse 10, many English translations have God asking Cain, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cry out to me." But according to the actual Hebrew, it should read, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's bloods cry out to me." Now in English, we only have one word for blood, and blood is one of those words that can be plural or singular. Everybody kind of knows what you mean. But in Hebrew, blood can also be plural. And in this verse, it's written in the plural. So what does this mean? It teaches that one who kills one person also kills that person's descendants for all generations to come. You don't just kill the blood of the person, you kill the bloods. The many people that could have had a potentially enormous positive impact on this world. Who but God could know the potential good that these descendants could have brought to the world? All that good throughout the future has been lost because of one violent act. This is why the sages say that a person who kills another human life is as if that person has killed an entire world. And conversely, one who saves a life is as if he saves an entire world. It's also another reason why killing a potential human, a fetus, is more than just killing a potential human. It's about killing that potential human and all of the potential generations that could have come because of that potential human. This is why abortion is so devastating to God. We'll have a video on this though, because there are instances where abortion is allowed. Now we know we wouldn't be following the prohibition of murder unless it was repeated at Mount Sinai. And it is indeed repeated at Mount Sinai in the 10 Commandments. So let's just take a general overview of the prohibition of murder. The basics are not to murder a human being, not to hire, send, or incite someone or an animal to murder, not to wound or physically damage another person or oneself. This actually includes castration and leaving your property in a state where it could potentially harm somebody. Not to commit suicide, not to commit elective abortion, not to communicate in speech or in writing words that will cause harm to another person, for a man not to spill semen in vain, and then 3 basic obligations: to save yourself or another person from a pursuer, to guard your potentially harmful entities from causing harm to others, and if you accidentally kill a person, you should exile yourself to atone. So we went over the basics of the Noahide Prohibition of Murder. I hope you all learned something. Again, we will delve into each of these more thoroughly in future videos. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.